New Jersey sex offender registers a temporary address here in the Villages. Villager falls nearly $200,000 behind in restitution on a devastating DUI tragedy. Officials are taking a look at golf cart crashes statistics. Villager allegedly uses golf club to pound a man's rib cage. New ID cards for villagers could cost $2.23 million. How many holes of ones of golf do we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. Thanks everybody for joining us this week for this week's Villages News Updated. Kevin Patrick Humphrey, 48 of Newark, New Jersey, on Wednesday registered a temporary address at 1136 West Boone Court, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. He was convicted in 2005 in Ocean County, New Jersey, of aggravated sexual assault and endangering the welfare of a child's sexual motivation. There you go. Another sex offender moves into
Florida's friendliest hometown.
You know, they've been complaining about outsiders using our swimming pools and things like that and sneaking in and so on and so forth. How prevalent is that? I don't really know. I just got this feeling that I don't think it's as bad as people say it is, but I don't know that. I mean, on the older side, there's things built differently up there than, say, down here where I'm at in District 10. Things are different here. So here, I don't see too much of a problem, but keep in mind, I don't go to the pools anymore. I don't go to rec centers anymore. So I'm not there every day to see what's going on, but I don't hear people complaining about things here, and I talk to people, so I don't think it's here. Most of the problems that I'm hearing about seems to be in the Spanish Springs kind of area, most of the about outsiders coming in. But also, I do know that there are things that does happen around here. And they were talking about new ID cards to be able to get into the swimming pool areas, which I said, well, that's not going to stop anybody. Our walls here is only about 3.5 feet tall. You can just easily step over it. I mean, it ain't going to stop nobody. But anyway, people complain, people say they got the answers to everything, and they think we ought to have these new ID cards. Well, there's a little article that they're looking into, printing out new ID cards for all of us that either we'll have to buy or our maintenance money is going to have to pay for it, which is us. And if we do, that means next year, guaranteed, your maintenance fees are going to go up. So here's the article. A proposal to replace ID cards for villagers could cost as much as $2.23 million. The Amenity Authority Committee and the Project-Wide Advisory Committee will meet in a joint meeting at 8:30 a.m. Monday at Savannah Center to consider a major overhaul to restrict outsiders' access to amenities and to allow residents to open gates without waiving a card. At the heart of the system would be the Villager ID card with a chip. The card would serve as both a Villager ID and gate entrance device. The new card would offer many operational efficiencies. The district has already been experimenting with long-range readers at the gates, and the new cards, potentially coupled with SunPass-style stickers, would end the need to roll down car windows when swiping a card at the entrance gate. The plan would call for 290,000 new Villager ID cards at a cost of $5.70 per card. That comes to $1.65 million. Another $580,000 would be needed for administrative costs, including programming and issuing the cards. That brings the total to $2.23 million. The AAC and PWAC will consider other options, including going with the long-range reader technology at the gates and disregarding the plan for the new ID cards. That would cost about $1.1 million. The board will also consider a pool access control option that would electronically limit access to the 71 neighborhood pools. That option has a $2.69 million price tag. You know, it just seems to me that there are simpler ways of doing things, but hey, who am I to say? I'm saying much cheaper just to hire somebody, give them an umbrella and a place to sit, and just sit at the pool. Or just make it part of their job. Every hour, on the hour, you have to go and check IDs. And the idea of staying in the pool and not asking them to get out, to me, is asinine. Anybody in the pool, all people in the pool area, get out, get your ID, or simply go home and get that ID and come back because you're not staying here. There's been a lot of golf cart accidents in the last couple of years. Some were fatal. Officials will take a hard look at golf cart crash statistics during a meeting of Multimodal Path Discussion Group. Multimodal Path Discussion Group actually has no authority here whatsoever. The group, made up of elected officials from throughout the villages, will meet at 2 p.m. Tuesday at Savannah Center. The meeting is open to the public. Why? Public don't live here. The group is scheduled to review statistics from law enforcement about the number of golf cart accidents which have occurred this year. They're looking into it. They're always looking into it. There's a lot of talk that goes on about things around here that need to be straightened out. A lot of talk. A villager was arrested after she allegedly used a golf club to pound a man's ribcage. Catherine Ridley, 43, who lives with her parents in the village of Fernandina, was taken into custody Thursday at Abbott Health in Ocala. She is facing a charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. The man, who has been in a romantic relationship with Ridley, suffered large red welts on the left side of his ribcage and back, according to an arrest report from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Ridley had been staying with the man, and they got into an argument about the position in which he had been sleeping. I'm sorry. It's the important things in life that we argue about, right? The man packed Ridley's bags and urged her to leave. Apparently, enraged, Ridley picked up a golf club and struck him hard 3 times on the left side of his ribcage. In addition to deputies, Marion County Fire Rescue responded to the scene. Ridley has a long history of arrests, including charges of aggravated assault, battery, and drug charges. She was arrested earlier this year. Following her arrest Thursday, she was booked at the Marion County Jail on a $5,000 bond. Let's have some more news. A villager has fallen nearly $200,000 behind in restitution for a 2013 drunk driving conviction that devastated 2 lives. Mary Staley, 65, who lives in a rental in the Emily Villas in the village of Mallory Square, was being held without bond this weekend at the Marion County Jail. She is charged with violating her probation. The former Leesburg principal had been at the wheel of a 2013 Toyota Corolla on July 28, 2013, when she collided with a 1994 Oldsmobile driven by 59-year-old Casteria Young, who suffered multiple broken bones in the crash, which occurred in Ocala. Her passenger, 55-year-old James Bennett, suffered a broken hand and lost a thumb. Staley provided breast samples that registered .134 and .144 blood alcohol content. At Staley's sentencing hearing, Young and Bennett offered testimony about the devastating effects of the crash. Lost wages, a huge medical bill. Staley did not have insurance. Staley was sentenced to 5 years in prison and was released in 2019 after serving 4 years behind bars. She found work as a telemarketer in Leesburg and working for True Green LLC in Fruitland Park. By April 2024, Staley was nearly $200,000 in arrears in fines and restitution, according to court documents. Specifically, she owed $181,698 in restitution to her victims. Bennett died in 2020, but Staley was ordered to continue paying restitution to the state's general fund. A warrant for her arrest was issued in 2024. She was arrested on the warrant on Thursday. A principal. The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs wants to build a new outpatient clinic to serve the huge veteran population here in the villages. The VA hopes to provide enhanced and expanded primary care, mental health services, and add a comprehensive array of specialty care outpatient services to serve veterans in the villages and surrounding communities in a modern, state-of-the-art facility, according to the letter penned earlier this month by Glenn Elliott, director of the project development for the VA. There are 3 sites under consideration, and I'll bring them up back here so you can see them. County Road 41 and US 301 in Summerfield, that's Marion County. U.S. Highway 27 and 441 at Skyline Drive, that's Lady Lake. None of the sites would be located in the villages, and they would not be golf cart accessible. That's too bad. Learn more about the sites under consideration by reading the letter from the VA. The village's OPC scoping notice. The village has a huge veteran population, with 1 in 8 residents have served in the military. And do you know why they don't build inside the villages? Just so you guys know. And you can say that I'm picking on people, and I do somewhat. It's because the developer owns all the property, and the developer owns all the buildings in here. And even though he may sell the Citizens Bank to whoever he sold it to, which I forget the name now, but he still owns that building. And so they got to pay him $1 million a year to be in that building. He owns the village's health system, but he sold that. But guess what? He owns the buildings that the village's health systems are in. So the new people that bought it, which is WellSense, I think, or something like that, they got to pay him, the last report I heard was $10 million a year to remain in those buildings. I just sometimes wonder when something like that happens, and we have the largest VA population outside of a military base here in the villages of anywhere in the United States. And yet, the developer won't do what I would consider to be a patriotic thing and allow them to build something at a reasonable cost inside the villages and own it. He'll build a building, and then what he wants to do is rent them that building so he can put money in his pocket. I'm sorry, that's nothing but greed. And I don't really blame all the developer. It's the 4th generation here that has no concern about nothing except profit. I spoke my piece. Here's some more friendly chitter chatter. A village who had been riding a bicycle was arrested after an alleged attack on a golf cart driver in a dispute over the use of golf cart lane. You know, I've mentioned it many times. They're golf cart trails. That's what they started out to be. And many of us still consider them as golf cart trails. Other people use them, to walk on. And they use them to ride bicycles on and to skateboard on and to use their electric bicycles on. They're getting totally out of hand on the golf cart trails and what they're actually designed to be used for. I know they changed the name of them to multimodal trails. Doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean nothing. It's a problem, and people are going to get hurt, and you're going to see more and more of these fights as the villages get bigger and bigger. A villager who had been riding a bicycle was arrested after an alleged attack on a golf cart driver in a dispute over the use of a golf cart lane. Dominic Chalino Jr., 68, of the village of Chitty Chatty, is facing a felony charge of battery after punching a fellow resident so severely that the golf cart driver was transported by ambulance to UF Health Leesburg Hospital, according to a arrest report from the Wildwood Police Department. Chalino, who was active in the Joliet Bicycle Club in Illinois before moving to
Florida's friendliest hometown,
was riding at about 10 a.m. Thursday with fellow cyclists in the village of Finney. A man in a golf cart was on his way to play golf when he saw a large group of bicyclists in a golf cart lane and began to pass them, according to the arrest report. The golf cart driver realized that one of the cyclists sped up and started cussing at him. Several bicyclists began following him and ordered him to stop near the entrance of the village of Finney. When the golf cart driver indicated he was not going to cooperate, Chalino used his bicycle to block the path of the golf cart. Chalino had dismounted from the bicycle. First of all, that is totally illegal. That's called road rage, Chalino. The golf cart driver said he was in fear of his life. He drove forward, hitting Chalino's bicycle. Apparently, the enraged Chalino approached the golf cart driver and started hitting him with a closed fist. Chalino struck the man's left eye, jaw, and forehead. The golf cart driver fell to the ground and suffered cuts to his arm. His wounds were bleeding when police arrived on the scene. A witness corroborated that the golf cart driver's account of the attack. Chalino was found to be the primary aggressor. Chalino was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. He was released after posting a $7,500 bond. Well, I have no idea what happened there. There's probably more to this story than what we're hearing. We're hearing one side of a story, kind of. I don't know if the golf cart driver yelled at the bicyclist and said something inappropriate that got things started. That's why he sped up to catch up. I don't understand why he would do that. But I will tell you this. I've seen it many times. There's large groups of bicyclists down here in the wintertime, and they're more than welcome to be here. I'm not picking on them. So don't misquote me here, people. But when there's 15 or 20 of you riding bicycles, I guess my question would be, and you got the right to ride on the golf cart path, I'm not denying that, but why would you? Because you know you're going to take up the whole path. And people behind you need to go around you. They can't get around you because there's a large group of you, and that causes a problem. But then again, the traffic around here is so bad, I wouldn't want to ride a bicycle on any of the roads around here either. People will run over you. They're not paying attention. Here's what they're doing when they're driving a car. This. Believe it or not, I've seen people drive their cars and golf carts with their knees, doing this. It's ridiculous. People just cannot put those things down and leave them alone. You're not that important. Put it down. An uncooperative driver from New Jersey was arrested at an entrance gate in the Villages. April Andrews, 49, was traveling in a vehicle at about 3:30 a.m. Saturday at 54 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone when she was pulled over on County Road 466A at Drake Drive at the entrance of the village of Pine Ridge, according to a arrest report from the Fruitland Park Police Department. During the traffic stop, Andrews refused to lower her window and would not provide identification to the police officer. You know, let me just say, I know all the rhetoric about rolling the windows down and blah, 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 blah. You guys watch them YouTube channels about I'm a sovereign citizen and all that kind of stupid crap. You got to obey a police order. I'll tell you what, every one of these people that want to scream, yell, argue, carry on, every one of them, they always end up being drug out of the car, arrested, cuffed, in custody, every one of them. So stop this. This is stupid. You guys have been drinking the wrong Kool-Aid. She was given several lawful orders to exit the vehicle, which she ignored. She was removed from the vehicle and placed in handcuffs. She was identified by her New Jersey driver's license. She was arrested on a charge of resisting arrest. She was booked at the Lake County Jail on a $1,000 bond. See, and I haven't even read the report, and I tell you, that's how they always end up. I don't know what your laws are in New Jersey, but you're in Florida. We don't play this game here. We just don't. If you're coming down here and you're a visitor, have fun, go where you want to go, do what you want to do. But when an officer says step out of the vehicle, you must step out. Because if you don't, this is what's going to happen to you. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has placed a hold on a Guatemalan arrested in the wee hours at Lake Sumter Landing. Carlos Anibal Perez Orozco, 32 of Bellevue, was driving a 2019 Acura passenger car at 12:10 a.m. Sunday through an open access parking lot at Lake Sumter Landing when a deputy ran the vehicle's license plate and discovered the vehicle's registered owner had a revoked license, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Police Department. During a traffic stop, Perez Orozco presented the deputy with a generic international driver's license card, a Guatemalan identification card, and a passport which had no permit or validation inside. A record check revealed that Perez Orozco had been convicted of driving under the influence in Marion County in 2020. He was arrested on a charge of driving while license revoked for DUI. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center where ICE placed a hold on his custody. Makes you wonder, the squares close at 9 o'clock. The bars, the worst bar down there as far as attracting what could be problems, but it's the most popular bar down there probably would be City Fire. It's kind of catty corner across from the square. 12:10. I'm not sure what time they close. I'm going to guess that they probably close around midnight or so, roughly. Why would this kid be down there at 12:10 a.m.? Our streets are open to the public. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has placed a hold on a Summerfield man who was stopped for driving without a license. A deputy observed 31-year-old Isaiah de Jesus Navarro Gonzalez driving a white Ford Escape in Wildwood at 6:10 p.m. Tuesday, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A check of the license plate revealed the owner did not have a valid license, leading to a traffic stop on North Main Street. Despite the language barrier, the deputy learned Navarro Gonzalez did not have a license. He instead handed over an identification card from Nicaragua. Dispatch used this information to confirm he had never been issued a license in the United States, the report said. Further investigation revealed that Navarro Gonzalez had been living in Florida for about 8 months, was gainfully employed in the Sumter County area, and living in Marion County. He did not have a passport on his person or any other form of ID, the report said. Navarro Gonzalez was arrested on operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. He was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center, where a bond was set at $2,500, and ICE placed a hold on him. Okay, we got 2 new restaurants going to open up. I'm going to guess probably down there at Middleton somewhere. Oak and Stone, the popular casual dining concept that debuted in Sarasota in 2016, has signed a lease with the Villages for a new location that will be part of the brand's planned expansion in Central Florida. The 6,049 square foot space located in the heart of the village of Eastport Town Center at 7016 Central Lake Drive is one in a series of new Oakstone location openings planned for the brand over the next 18 months. Oakstone and their operational experiences running restaurants is such a key part to having our newest Eastport Town Center in the villages. We are excited. They have chosen to bring their fun tavern atmosphere loaded with hospitality to our residents and guests and look forward to their opening, said Gino Warquin, director of the village's commercial development. Recognized for its made-from-scratch dishes, incentive artisan pizzas, and self-pour tap wall, Oak and Stone guests delight in its laid-back tavern atmosphere, great food, drinks, and heartfelt hospitality. The brand's Central Florida expansion follows Oakstone's recent announcement heralding the November 2025 opening of its new Cape Coral, Florida location. Plans for the new Winter Park location announced earlier this year. Owned and operated by Winter Park-based artistry restaurants, Oak and Stone has become a signature brand within the company's portfolio, with locations along Florida's Gulf Coast. Artistry restaurants currently operate 7 Oak and Stone locations in Bradenton, Estero, Naples, Sarasota, 2 locations in St. Petersburg, and Venice. Well, there you go. New pizza coming to town. And here's another new restaurant coming to town. This one's coming, I think, to Middleton. A barbecue chain that announced its expansion into Middleton nearly 2 years ago is drawing closer to finally opening its first restaurant in the villages. 4 Rivers Smokehouse is currently under construction at 7679 Milton Drive, just east of the new Portello's that opened last month. According to an online business listing, the restaurant is scheduled to open its doors September 23rd. When it opens, 4 Rivers will serve brisket, pulled pork, ribs, burnt ends, chicken, and other barbecue meats, as well as a variety of sides. 4 Rivers got its start as a barbecue ministry in 2004, when founded by John Rivers, hosted a cookout fundraiser to support a local girl battling cancer. In 2009, the Rivers family formalized its operations, opening its first restaurant in Winter Park. The chain first signed a lease to do business in Middleton in October 2023. The new restaurant in the villages marks the 16th establishment. Outside the area, there are also nearby 4 Rivers locations in Gainesville, Orlando has 2, and Winter Garden. The 4 Rivers in the company's name is a reference to the founding family's members, John, Monica, Jared, Cameron, as well as Genesis, a Bible scripture about river flowing from Eden that separates into 4 different waterways. We exist to use our God-given gifts to support the local community through exceptional products, steadfast customer service, and uncompromised integrity, reads a statement from the company's website. Will you try the new 4 Rivers Smokehouse in the villages? That's the question they're asking. If you're asking me, my guess is I'm about 50-50. I'm kind of sick of eating at all these newer restaurants with higher prices and really not getting the quality of food that I think you should have for the price. My opinion. Let me know what you think. Will you try it? If you're buying down there, my guess is yes, you will. There's a good chance that I might, when one of my Jose and me and maybe Jerry getting together and doing our little riding around and going here and going there, there's a good chance we may stop there for lunch. Who knows? Okay, how many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? Did we get any? Looks like we got one. Lisa Harger of the village of Bonnybrook got her first ever hole-in-one at hole number 4 at the El Santiago Executive Golf Course. She scored the ace using a 7-iron from the 91-yard tee box. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Lisa. Hope you get many more. Here we go with everybody's favorite. To the editor, I am opposed to charging a fee for residents. We already pay via our amenity charges, which go up annually. If the concern is for rental properties, which a $50 fee is charged for a temporary card, I would recommend charging them more, such as $100 or more. That's sent in by Pat Boivius from the village of Caroline. I used to have a place in the village of Caroline. I like Caroline a lot. Good location. Quiet over there. It's not really a through street around there anywhere. I like it, especially that area back there along the lake. I think it's called the Lakes of Caroline or something like that. Love that area. Listen, I'm just going to say one thing real quick because I may have read this in my mind here. I may have misinterpreted something. She says, if the concern is $50 fee for a charge of a temporary card. That might be, it's a temporary residence card. As we buy a home here, you have to take a picture. You get what we jokingly like to call our green card. They got your picture on it. It's your resident card. On the back of it is information. It's a proper passcode to use the Wi-Fi at all the different regional rec centers. I don't know if a lot of you know that or not, but that golf number back there, even if you don't play golf, that golf number on the back of your residence card is your pass pin to use the Wi-Fi at any of the regional rec centers. $50 is the fee for a temporary resident card. It's not a fee for a guest pass. That's what I'm trying to get across. On the Airbnb situation here, what they're doing is he's just ordering guest passes. I need 2 guest passes for next weekend. I need 4 more guest passes for the weekend after that. I don't know if there's a restriction on how many guest passes each property owner can have a year. I don't know that, but that's what they're doing. And if they're charging you $50 for a guest pass, they're gouging you. Guest passes are free. We don't get charged anything for a guest pass, but for a temporary resident card, that's true. It was $50. But really, in order to get that, here's what I had to do when I had my rental property. I had to go to Spanish Springs at that time. That's where the main offices were at. I had to fill out a paper to give the rental person's name that's going to be in the property, the date they're going to start occupying that property, the date that they're going to be leaving that property, and is there going to be any other guests? Even if it's a man and wife, let's say the wife would be considered a guest. They need to know all this information. You hand them that paper along with both of Sue and mine, both of our resident passes, cards. She rolls it up, puts it in an envelope, puts your name on it, and she has a file and she files it. At that point, I have no rights here whatsoever. I'm done. I can't use my guest pass for anything. That's what I'm always referring to as that system. Take my information, use it the way you want. To the editor, I rent a house once a year for 1 month. My husband and I are not wanting to leave home yet to buy a place to Villages. We invite friends to stay with us while we are renting. We are your future home owners. You don't know that. We don't know that. That's just something you say, but it doesn't mean anything. Not to me, it don't. My husband and I are at least one of our couples we have brought to the village that we'll be buying in the next couple of years. I do believe asking a guest to pay $10 or $20 for a guest pass is reasonable, but if you limit the number of passes, you are also limiting the number of people who will visit. So Bonnie Berlinsman from nowhere. The truth of it is, Bonnie, you don't have a dog in the fight, but I will say that what you've said does make a little bit of sense. $20 or $20 for a guest pass. Well, here's the thing. If you're here and you have resident rights, like you should have, because you rented the house from the owner, so he should have paid the $50 to give you resident rights. He may back charge you that $50, which I've already had a talk about that. I think that is such robbery. I paid it myself. I never back charged my renter that at all. That was my homeowner's responsibility, and I just paid it. So if the $10 or $20 payment to be paid for gas passes, that's on you. If you're renting the house, you got to pay that. So, I'm sure your guest would pay it, but I'm not really a big fan of any of this back and forth on this. I'm just a fan on just tightening up on rental rules, which, by the way, we don't have any here. Not in my district. There's no rental rules. People can jump up and down and scream all they want. Bottom line, and I'm a bottom line kind of guy. Bottom line is there are no rules on rental property here except what the resident or the homeowner makes on that property. He or she makes them rules. Villages has no rules about rental property. You could actually move in a rental property here with children for a whole month. And that is totally legal. Nobody can say anything about it. They can whine, bitch, and jump up and down all they want. I'm saying if you don't like the idea of that happening, you need to get your rules changed. If you don't get them changed, this is going to continue to happen, and it's going to happen more and more as the village gets bigger and bigger, and we keep putting more and more children's schools in here. You're going to see more and more kids living in more and more of these homes. Thanks for the letters to the editor. To the editor, to the person commenting that guest passes were never asked for. I'm confused. You mentioned Nancy Lopez, Johnny Rockets, and the Squares. Not sure why you think these places need to be checked for your guest passes. Absolutely right. You don't need a guest pass to go to them places. None of them. Had you said you went to the pools or participated in one of the activities at the rec centers, yes, there the passes should be checked. Enjoy your company and the lifestyle here in the villages. That's sent in by Helene Starost from the village of Santo Domingo. She's exactly right. You say this, nobody checked your gas passes at the restaurants or anything like that up at Nancy Lopez or Johnny Rockets. Those are open to the public. No, you don't need to check your gas passes. It's just like Nancy Lopez. They say these are country clubs. They're really not. They're just called championship golf courses. You realize all of our championship golf courses are open to the public. All of them. Not just that one. Evans Prairie. All of them are open to the public. The only thing we get as villagers, we get first tee time rights. But if somebody calls up there that don't even live here or goes over there and says, hey, I want to play some golf here. Have you got any open tee times? If they do, they'll tell them. They collect their money and you go tee off. I mean, they're open to the public. So you got the wrong gripe in the wrong place. But thanks for your information. And the information she's given you here is exactly correct. I want to give a special condolences here because I knew this guy not real well. I talked to him. I think I mentioned to you guys a couple of times when I was a gate guard. Exactly what his participation was as far as cruising around his car, I don't know. But he stopped by and just say, "How you doing? We got a silver alert." And sometimes he would hand me a paper. Sometimes I'd invite him in for a cup of coffee. I mean, I liked the guy. He had stories, and he was an easy guy to talk to. Sheriff Farmer has passed away. Our community mourns the loss of a remarkable leader for the passing of former Sumter County Sheriff William Bill Farmer. Sheriff Farmer was a true servant leader whose life is marked by extraordinary dedication to the public. Sheriff Farmer began his career as law enforcement nearly 5 decades ago, serving as a patrolman, criminal investigator, and chief deputy before being elected as Sumter County Sheriff in 1996. Our 7 terms and 28 years, he faithfully led the sheriff's office with integrity. Sheriff Farmer also generously gave his time and leadership to sheriffs across Florida. He served 2 terms as chairman of the Sheriff's Youth Ranch Board of Directors and as president of Florida Sheriff's Association. He also served as the Sheriff's Association chaplain for the last 8 years until his retirement. It is impossible to fully measure the impact that Sheriff Farmer leaves on Sumter County and the state of Florida. Sandy and I extend our prayers to his family, friends, and loved ones as we honor his life and enduring legacy of service. Yes, thank you, Sheriff Farmer, for stopping and talking to me. I got to know you a little bit, and I enjoyed our conversations. And to the family, I'm sorry for your loss. Well, that's it. That time sure kind of flew by fast, I think. I don't know how long this news is. I don't feel like it's as long as it normally was, but it is what it is. I pick out what I think is the best and most informing for those of you that are here or for those of you that are considering moving here. I try to pick out what I think is the most information to help you get a full feel of exactly what goes on here. There's other YouTube channels around here you can go to, and you can hear about all these other little things. You can get a lot of home reviews here and there. Go watch them. You're not going to get a lot of that from me anymore. I've done 100 of them in the last 11 years, and I just don't really care about doing much anymore of them. I do some once in a while if I think they're, different in some way, but I don't do a lot of them anymore. So with that, I'm just going to say, come on down, come visit, see if this place is for you. Compare the Eastport area and what it is to, say, the Brownwood area, to Lake Sumter area, and Spanish Springs area. You owe that to yourself to pick out the right area for you. Not only for activities, not only for the home design, but for age group. I don't know how old you are coming down here. People seem like they're retiring younger and younger. If you're 60, there's an area of the villages that 60 fits right in. There's also an area of the villages where if you're 80 fits right in. So come on down, visit. Take a look around. Rent a golf cart if they don't have one. You can rent them really easy. Get lost. Have fun. We will help you get around from one point to another. The villages people here, if they see you sitting on the side of a golf cart trail in the grass, looking at a road map, guarantee you, they're all going to stop to see if you need any help. So you're not going to go far without finding a friend along the way. So with that being said, be well, stay safe, be alert, be aware,
and don't leave that key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.